Hello and welcome everybody. I am Akamel DL and today is a different video from what I normally do. This will be a guide, but not only that, I'm also joined by my brother who has only really been in a summon video, I think one.
Hello.
Maybe two. You might have been two actually. Two summon videos.
Actually, I think Fire Emblem as well.
Yeah,
I think it was the Grand Zone Fire Emblem that might have been it.
Maybe one more too that I was forgetting entirely. But either way, we have finally decided to do a starter / returning player guide. The main motivator for this is that at the time of us recording this, first anniversary will go live in like 4 hours. So we are hoping that this video will help beginning players launch into a Dragalia Lost knowing how to progress and what everything does, and returning players can regain the knowledge on what to do and also know the changes that have occurred.
Timestamps will be in the description for you returning players, hopefully. If not, I'll have them on screen now as I'm editing this.
Probably not, let's be honest. Prove me wrong.
Not. Prove myself wrong, future me.
Editing Matthew, display them now. With that, let us jump right into this guide. Let's say, for example, you're now a beginning player, you have just done the entire tutorial, and you are now about to summon for your tutorial character. You're probably asking, who do I want the most? Now then, those 8 characters are as follows: Mikoto, Hildegard, Xander, Maribel, Xanfrid, Nefaria, Hawk, and Julieta. The first 4 I had mentioned, those are the better of the 8 units. Also from best to worst, Mikoto being best, Maribel being, okay, she's good, but I could use someone better. Mikoto in general is just a very good DPS for fire, and he's still a very, very good unit even after 1 year. While for Hildegard, she is still a very good healer after 1 year. Xander is a very solid unit. He is still used for a good chunk of content, not as much as Mikoto, but still a very good unit. And Maribel, she has fallen off a little bit, but she is a defense debuffer and can also launch her skills immediately. That's why she is still pretty solid. As for the unit I would recommend you really go for, I would recommend Mikoto. Mikoto is a very, very good unit. He will help you immensely in story, in early and mid-game, and maybe even some later mid-game content. Now then, speaking of story, when you get your tutorial character, you will then begin to progress through story. I would honestly recommend reading story because it's honestly a pretty good story, and I'm just sitting here waiting to know what happens next at the time of this recording. I'm just waiting to know what happens next. So yeah, hopefully you get some enjoyment out of story. When you reach chapter 5, you will begin to notice a difficulty spike. That is natural. That is completely natural. That's not you being bad at the game. When you beat chapter 5 and even beat chapter 6, you are at a very good point right now of where you have acquired events. You should have been unlocking events while progressing through story, and when you beat chapter 6, you then technically have all of them available to you.
All of the ones for your dailies. May I add to that, because more events are added later on, such as Astral Raids, Void Battles, the ability to use augments. All those will be explained later, but that stuff is later. Chapter 6 is where you can do your dailies. All of them, period.
Chapter 6, I would say, is a very good checkpoint of where you can take a break from story and begin to work up your units even further. Because when the game first released, Chapter 6 was where story ended, and that's where everyone kind of then just grinded from there. So I'm still saying that Chapter 6 is a good checkpoint for you to take a break and focus on your box. Now then, as for these dailies, first thing I'm going to say right now, they're daily. Do them daily. Do them. Like, dailies...
Sell your soul to them daily.
Yes, exactly. These dailies are very, very important.
I said sarcastically, by the way. No one should sell their soul to a game unlike this nutcase here.
Hey, men.
Okay, so from these dailies, you will notice that you get many materials, and this including Wyrmite. I'm going to deviate a little bit and talk about Wyrmite for a little bit. Wyrmite, you have noticed, is, for those who have played gacha games before, this is the currency you use summon with. But there's another use for it. Builders in your Halidome. That should be your first priority. We'll get further into those later, but I'm just saying this now, just so that you don't go spending it right away.
Now then, back onto dailies, really quick, we will move on to the Halidome and Castle, in which I just very quickly showed very shortly. But we'll back onto dailies. As you can see right now, some dailies have 1 box, others have 2 boxes, then there's one with 3 boxes. The one with 3 boxes, that's not your standard daily, those are weeklies. Now then, this is more like mid-game content.
Late mid-game.
Later mid-game content.
I hate the patterns.
Eh. Situational.
Shut up.
But you don't need to worry about your weeklies immediately yet. You can worry about your weeklies when you get a better unit up and running. But well, for your dailies, you will be able to clear the 1 chest dailies pretty easily and pretty quickly too. Meaning, well, these will be the stages you farm for a good while. Versus your 2 daily stages, which are your Dragon Trials and your Imperial Onslaught, you will need to work up your units a little bit more. Now then, when it comes to working up units, you will need a couple of things. For adventurers, for example, you will need a couple things. First of all, you'll need to upgrade their level. And while levels are done by crystals. A crystal to increase an adventurer's XP. You get them by doing Avenue to Power. Very simple, I'll grind that stage for a bit, just simply work up the one team you're maining, nothing wrong with that. But well, as you can see here, there's also this promote option. Promotion involves a little rare currency called Eldwater. Eldwater can be used in a variety of forms. One of them is used to promote adventurers to 1-star rarity up. With 2,500 Wyrmite, you can upgrade a 3-star to a 4-star. And by using 25,000 Wyrmite, you can upgrade a 4-star to a 5-star. And at the moment, there are no 6 stars in the game right now, so 5-star is kind of where it caps. You can also use Eldwater, purchasing a item called Wymprints. I will get onto that in a sec. And also in some Mana Circle. And speaking of Mana Circle, this is where some more Eldwater can come in and a lot more materials. Let us take one of my Mana Circle 45 adventurers as a quick example of this. I will use my Ramona as a very quick example. Now then, you're probably asking, okay, Mana Circle, this looks like a lot. What do I need?
Oh no. Done.
What materials do you need? Now then, the materials you need is mostly an item called Mana. Mana is a little harder to acquire in the early game. But well, when you get to mid-game and when you begin clearing events very easily, mana does not become an issue. But well, you can be a madman like me and just work up absolutely everybody to their absolute maximum without investing too much. But that's just me though. You can just for now level up your main 4 adventurers you're using, probably your elemental teams as well.
Or be like me, a normal person, and have like 20.
Now then, what other materials do you need? For most of the early game Mana Circle, you really only need mana, orbs, which is from the Elemental Ruin stage, Dragon Scales, which is from the Dragon Trials. You can farm on the Expert stage. Master you can do in co-op. I'll get to co-op in a quick bit. And some also require a more premium currency called Testaments. Testaments are mainly acquired through events, in which, well, it's more point-based of how you acquire them. It's not by random drop chance. You just need to grind it enough, then you can get them. Honestly, not that big of a deal. Most events you can leech off of other people for.
Also, one thing I would like to add, every single one of these items that we have mentioned, you can get from events. They make events pretty easy to do, and you get a lot of stuff with them. So really, events and IOs are your lifeline in this game. You should always do them when you can.
Now then, doing those lifelines, those are very, very important for not only leveling up characters, but also even dragons, weapons, and or Wymprints. But well, for right now, let me use some of the items I have to unlock this node right here. This node just gave me an item called a Damascus Crystal. This can be used for something else. Now then, let's say your character is now max level, and it's like roughly Mana Circle 20 or 30. I would say Mana Circle 30 is a pretty good point for you to try and clear the more beginner content. You would obviously want to try and upgrade that a little more, but well, 30 is a good enough start. Now then, let's move into leveling up your dragon. As hopefully Min has explained in story, and hopefully you have read this and or applied it, but just in case if you haven't, oops. Dragons, they give a specific buff as long as they match their type. So, for example, Juggernaut is a 4-star. As long as he's equipped to a Shadow Adventurer, he boosts your strength by 45%. Now then, depending on the character, you would want a different buff. Say, for example, you are running a healer, you might want an HP dragon versus a strength dragon. And versus a someone who does damage, you would want a strength dragon over a HP dragon. But well, when it comes to leveling up dragons, you will get dragon fruit from the dragon stage, the dragon trials. You can use that to then level up dragons and therefore increase their might, increase their strength.
It all snowballs.
Yes, everything will snowball. But you're probably wondering, okay, but why are some of these blue and some of these yellow? Some of these level numbers. That can quickly be explained by unbinds. What unbinds are is by using a specific item or a duplicate dragon, you can then raise the level cap of that dragon.
Quick deviation.
Yes.
Dupes in this game. Dragons are for unbinds. Dupe Wymprints are for unbinds. Dupe weapons are for unbinds. Dupe characters give you Eldwater. Dupe characters do nothing. You do not need a whale for Eldwater. There are many other ways to obtain it.
Eldwater comes to you in short.
Yes.
So then back onto dragons really quick. By unbinding, you can not only unlock the level cap, but you can also, at the 4th unbind, you can increase their ability. In which I mentioned before, this one is 45% strength. That is him at the maximum he can possibly be. Now then, let us take someone like Leviathan over here. He currently gives 40% strength to the water element, and he's only at 2 unbind. When I get him up to a max unbind, his level cap will then go up to 100, and his ability will then change from 40% strength to 60% strength.
And this also applies to Wymprints as well. When you fully unbind them, their skills increase.
Same for weapons too. Now that we've talked about dragons, let's now move on to Wymprints. Wymprints, those are a different animal in short. Wymprints is where your customization really comes into full effect. This is where you get to sort of have fun in the game, I guess you could say, in the team building aspect. You can customize your adventurer based off of what these prints do. For example, Resounding Rendition. This gives 30% skill damage, and when HP is 70% or above, you have a crit rate of 8%. This Wyrmprint is a very good Wyrmprint. Now then, when you equip this to an adventurer, they would gain an additional 30% skill damage, and also, when their HP is 70% or above, they then have a crit rate of 8%. Now then, you can see next to it their max of 40% and max of 15% for their corresponding things. What that means is that you are able to equip a second Wyrmprint, but you must clear a certain stage in story. You are then able to have a combination of Wymprints and sort of like stack their skills. So then, well, let's say you have this Wyrmprint and it's a skill damage. Then you pair it up with another skill damage print, for example, the Shining Overlord. This one will give sword class skill damage 40%, in which it will still cap out at 40, and Dragon Claws 3. Now then, it doesn't go up to like 70%. Once when it hits 40, it stays at 40. It won't go above 40.
Also, one thing to add, the character skill versus the Wyrmprint skills stack. But you see that max right there? That only applies to the Wyrmprint stacks. The characters stack isn't a part of that cap.
That is absolutely correct.
I just thought I would like to make note of that, because I'm sure questions are arising about that.
Congratulations, you got candy. So okay then, as I've mentioned, you can also unbind Wymprints. Wymprints can be done from the same way. Either a specific item, or duplicate Wymprints. Now the Wymprints, they are a little easier to obtain than dragons. Most dragons can only be obtained through summons. Wymprints can be entirely exchanged through Eldwater or purely from drops. Right now, I really don't have an example in which I can unbind a Wyrmprint, but you would just go to unbind a...
I'll be showing an example. I have plenty.
Alright then. No, that's that. Now then, we're going to move on to weapons now. Weapons, those are strictly based off of your smithy. This is why I was preaching so much to work up the smithy, work up the Halidome as fast as possible. Because once we get the smithy high enough, you could then begin to craft new weapons. And well, the current highest tier right now is 5-star core weapons. 5-star core weapons are, in short, the best weapons in the game right now. Let's take this axe for example. This axe, just in general, gives a lot of might, a lot of strength. It's just really damn good. Very soon, they will be adding more weapons under the 5-star rarity, and the 5-star core weapons will become tradable. So these weapons will become easier to acquire, but these are still a very good thing to have. They're really good. They also give a third skill, in which, well, character has 2. This will be your third skill. That can also be how you kind of customize them, but in general, the 5-star weapon will be what you want to eventually obtain. Now then, well, just if we go to crafting, let's take a fire sword. For example. As you can see here, some of the materials, they might be a little harder to acquire. For example, the Crimson Cores, those can be attained through the Dragon Trials, in case if you didn't already get some from doing dailies. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Do them now if you haven't. Tablets, which are acquired through Imperial Onslaught. And Twinkling Sand, which is acquired through, you guessed it, events. More events. Just like Wymprints and Dragons, they can also be unbound by either a duplicate copy or by a specific item. This one is a Damascus Ingot. It can be used on 5-star weapons. Now then, I should have hopefully talked about each in great enough detail. So, well, just for you done all this, you should have a pretty good enough character. You should begin to clear Imperial Onslaught in Co-op Master, Dragons in Co-op Master. You should be doing the others, the Elemental Ruins, the Avenue to Fortune, Avenue to Power in single player, with hopefully no issues on the Expert difficulty.
Oh wait, one thing I'd like to add to that. So, the 5-star core weapons, you are not going to get those in one day.
No, you're not.
So something that Dragalia added, something that is better than a 4-star weapon, but not quite the 5-star weapon, is Void Weapons. That is another kind of event. We will go over those later, but just know that those will probably be your most frequently used weapons for a little bit. Just to get your head above water so you can clear IOs, so you can do dragons, autoing them with no problems, because they give higher stats. I just let to go over that, all because Mikey kind of made it seem like 5-star weapons will be your immediate next. No. It is literally a ladder.
Yes, my mistake for that.
Also, Void Weapons do not give a 3rd skill. I just thought I'd like to point that out.
Void Weapons instead, they give off abilities.
And which those are good for Void Battles, but we will get into those later. Those are not important at the moment. Moving on.
Now then, you should, hopefully by now, have some sort of pretty alright to good worth up weapon. Max character level, Mara Circle like 20 to 30. You should have dragons being worked up. You should have, hopefully, some sort of Wymprints, if I have the Yellowwater. So the question is, how will I begin to acquire these harder to obtain materials, the premium currency in this game? Now that, my friends, is events. Events, to be honest, are not terribly difficult, mainly because you have the ability to leech off of other players in some events. Now then, before I go any further, there are multiple types of events. There are raid events, facility events, and void battle events. There was one other type of event that has only been introduced one time, and that was for a collab that Dragalia had with Fire Emblem Heroes, and that was called a defense event. I'm going to explain the 3 events you'll see most often. Raid events, those are events that feature a free-to-play character, a free-to-play 5-star dragon, and a pretty easy to acquire Wyrmite. Now then, when you do the event, there will obviously be a little story you can do for some more Wyrmite. You can choose to read it or not. It's more like little side story stuff. But I get a good laugh out of it, to be honest. But when you beat that story, you will then farm a stage for a currency called Otherworld Fragments. You need those Otherworld Fragments in order to challenge the actual farming stage. Now then, for the actual farming stage, in raid events, it is only available in co-op. So, on that is where you can leech. That is where you can use other higher level players and pretty much clear the room, even though you are a much weaker Might. Now then, in order to challenge those stages, you will obviously need to meet the Might requirement, and well, when you hit it once, you can do it with any team. Now then, while farming this event, you'll get emblems. Emblems, in short, are your points. Emblems will give you rewards based off of how much you have. It is 5,000 gold emblems, 1,000 silver, and 1,000 bronze, and that's pretty much all the points right there for raid events. Now then, from those emblems, you get the premium currency, those being testaments, insignias. You even get a copy of the dragon, like a copy or 2 of the Wymprint, and even a free elemental 3-star weapon, which, well, that can even help you hit some Might requirements. Something else that can also be acquired through raid events will be Blazon summons. Now then, don't worry, when I say summons, you don't use Wyrmite for it. You get a material by doing the event, and with that a material, called Blazons, you could then use it in that summon. In that Blazon summon, you can get the free dragon, you can get the event exclusive Wyrmprint, and in general just a lot of other materials. Those Blazon summons is one of the best places to farm a lot of basic materials. You can farm gold, or rupees as it's called. You can farm mana, you can farm the bronze materials, you can get some silver, and a couple gold per. And you can also get 5 other randomized Wymprints from Blazons. Raid events in general are just a very good starting point to begin your arsenal, in short. Now, well, for those who have played gachas before, specifically Fake Rain Order, you can compare Blazon summons to your lotteries.
It is literally that. Simple.
Now then, onto the next event type is facility events. This one I'm going to go into the castle in order to show you some examples of this. Because facility events are actually really, really good. Facility events, say for example, this Yule Tree. This was a Christmas facility event. You were able to get this facility, and with a certain material that came from the event, you're able to upgrade it up to a max level of 30. This is very good because it is even more facility level, even more stats for that specific adventurer. And what's even better about these is that during the event, this facility gives you boosted damage. Up to 150% more damage. It will just help you clear some events much easier. Now then, unlike raids, this is mostly single player. So facility events, they do require a little bit more work than raid battles, but in my opinion, much, much more worth. Now then, you also grind points from doing the event. You can also get boosted points through a event exclusive Wyrmprint. Some Wymprints, they will give boosted points and boosted drops on these facility events. Some of them are purchasable through Eldwater, others can be grinded through the event. Now then, generally, you will want to hit a max of 150% points and 150% of the certain item. That will give you the maximum intake per run. Now then, when it comes to grinding the specific facility, you will need a certain item, and that item can be acquired through the 150%. You can grind that item on co-op. When it comes to points, that is best done through single player. The stage done through single player, it is kind of challenging if you are newer. I would recommend grinding on expert, because, well, you just get much faster runs in general, and it could also be much easier for you or other people as well. Now then, facility event points. There are a max of 1 million points. I know it sounds daunting, but when you have the 150% boost, it's honestly not that hard. I personally have cleared the 1 million points within the day. It's honestly not terribly hard because I can now auto it. It's honestly not the biggest deal in the world for me. For people just starting out, it might take you a couple days, depending on how hard it is, and also your event facility level. And this event, again, can also drop that premium currency. The Testaments, more mana, more gold, more material for unbinding dragons, Wymprints, weapons. The facility events are also very good.
Okay, so one thing to add on to that, raid events and facility events, they each have another difficulty. It's called Nightmare. That is endgame. Do not worry about it for now.
Late mid-game, not endgame.
Okay. You will not beat it yet. Those give more materials like more twinkling sands, key fragments. Those will do that. Those are meant to be a challenge. They're once a day. Don't worry about them until you have teams of at least 20k might.
Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged.
Do not be discouraged. It's meant for people later on in the game.
Now that those two events are now done and over with, let's move on to Void Battle events. As well, you can probably tell by beating Chapter 7, you unlock them outright. Void Battles will always be available, but for like roughly a week to 10 days, some of the Void Battles will be on double drops. These double drops are normally paired with a limited endeavor. And well, these are normally paired with a limited quest or endeavors. Those endeavors can give you even more Wyrmite, even more of that void material used to create more void weapons, and also void seeds. Void seeds, void leaves, more gold, stuff like that. You're probably asking, because I mentioned void seeds and void leaves, what do those do? That's where void battles are very special and highly recommend grinding out. You see here, under the treasure trade and void battles, you can use void seeds to purchase more dragons, in which, well, this one, for example, is a 4-star, and it gives you more adventure XP. That's just an example. There's also a mana dragon. There's also a gold dragon. Me personally, I bought out the gold dragons, but they cost like 4 void seeds per with a max of 20. So do the math, that's 80 void seeds. Takes a while, but in my opinion, the gold is the most worth. You should buy that one first, because especially when rupees gets double drops, you're getting like 12,000 per run when you also have those dragons equipped. Well, no, not 12,000, 120,000. And yeah, it's just absolutely amazing when paired with like maxed out 99 skip tickets. You get like 15 mil gold. It's phenomenal. I mentioned the void seeds. What about the void leaves? Now, well, because I already bought out everything, they're all down here. You can use void leaves to purchase even more mana, even more rupees. You can even buy honey and eon ashes, which honey and eon ashes, those are like your restoring items. Honey is for stamina, eon ashes is for wings. Steel bricks. Steel bricks can be used to unbind 4-star weapons. Damascus crystals, you can craft them into a Damascus ingot, which that can be used to unbind 5-star. Moonlight stones, those can be used for 4-star dragons. Knight's Testament, Champion's Testament. More water, which water is the level up material for Wymprints. Golden dragon fruit, which is used to enhance dragons. And well, all those ones reset monthly. That's what makes them so good. You can buy them out every month. Well, whenever a brand new month starts, that's when the Void Shop resets. That's when you can repurchase all those materials again. That's what makes Void Battles so good and so worth doing. But one more thing for Void Seeds before I move on. You can also purchase these slime statues. These slime statues are even more facilities. By using a combination of materials and some void materials, you can level them up to a max level of 15, and they boost your certain element even further. There are 5 out right now, 1 for each element. Those are also very worth doing. Yes, once
that is how you know you're at about that.
Yeah, so
I forgot one thing. Astral Raids.
Astral Raids, okay. Astral Raids, in short, they are previous event bosses brought into a raid that has beginner, standard, expert, and master. The beginner, standard, and expert, those are the same difficulty as the other raids. And well, in order to even challenge this raid in the first place, you need to clear stages from Monday till Friday to obtain this red puzzle piece called an Astral piece. You can cap out at 300 of those. Those will allow you to challenge the Astral Raid, which is only available on weekends.
Some weekends.
Yes, some
whenever
weekends.
They want to put one in.
Yeah, pretty much. We're at their mercy with that.
Exactly.
Now then, I mentioned beginner to expert, but what about master? Master is nightmare level difficulty. Master is not meant to be a joke. It is meant to be hard. But well, when you begin clearing Nightmare, you can then begin to take on Master. That is really no big deal once when you begin to take on Nightmare.
Also, I'm gonna add on to this, but when you beat these Astral Raids, this is how you get augments. What augments are stat raising items. If you play Blazing, you know what pills are. If you play Fairy Grand Order, you know what the foods are. They raise your maximum stat per adventure. For your adventure, they do this. I must specify that. It's not like you can put augments in your weapon, in your Wyrmprint. No, just your adventure.
I mean, well, there are other augments that do that, but well, at the moment from Astral Raids, they really just focus on adventures right now.
Exactly. For now, they're only doing adventures. One day, power creep, but now, adventure.
And prints. I forgot Wymprints too. Wymprints also drop pretty frequently, actually. So once when you begin clearing Nightmare and Astral Raids, that is a good point. Now then, moving on from all the events, just one more very quick point. It is okay if you don't complete it. Just if you take like a couple of days off, you miss out on a couple things, doing as much as you can is fine. Alright? We understand, you get burnt out, you have life, we get that. Not everyone can no life a game. Doing as much as you can, that way you get something from the event that in itself is worth. Especially the Wyrmite. Just gonna say it right now, especially the Wyrmite. Let's quickly tackle Wyrmite. We have mentioned that you should be saving your Wyrmite for very specific banners. You're probably asking, what banners should I save for? Gala banners are, in short, your festival banners for your Gacha veterans. For those of you who are new, Gala Dragalia banners, those are your OP units. Those are the units that will carry you through most of the content in the game. Those units are limited to only Gala banners, and what's even more amazing about Gala banners, they have boosted rates. Every other banner has a 4% 5-star rate. Gala banners have a 6% 5-star rate. Gala banners in general are really amazing. Highly recommend you save up for Galas. You should save up for collab units as well. We already had Fire Emblem come and go, and Mega Man has been announced for winter. Winter of 2019 till 2020. Don't know an exact release date yet. As well as other limited banners, such as a Halloween banner, Christmas banner,
Valentine's Day banner, and Lunar New Year, which was Iyasu. Shout out to Citri, by the way.
We don't give shoutouts here. Only pain.
I'm keeping that in. There's nothing you can do about it.
Only pain. Alright, remember Iyasu, Citri. I shall too. Don't worry, you're not alone.
Same. Galas hate me too, by the way. Oh my god, I have horror stories.
Oh boy, we can write a book on that.
I could.
But yes, Gala banners, highly recommend you save Wyrmite for those, but it is your currency. You can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to listen to me. You can summon for whatever your waifu or husbando is, or just in general who you think is cool. That choice is up to you. But Galas, in my opinion, are the best worth. So then, we have talked about weapons, we talked about Wymprints, we talked about characters. Now then, once when you begin to do all this for roughly like a couple months, and well, you're now beginning to get higher mites, what can you then do? Well then, you can begin to gear units toward the later mid-game content. The later mid-game content at the moment is a certain stage called High Dragons. High Dragons are late mid-game content that have 3 weeklies instead of like 1 or 2 dailies. High Dragons, they are very, very difficult at the moment, at least. When it comes to High Dragons, you need to build characters in order to even live them. Because, well, they're not your standard stage of where you just go in and just go. You need to live them first. A better example, when you first go into the stage, they do like an initial blast that affects the entire area. If you die from that blast, you are dead. So yes, you need to build up units enough to where you can live that blast, then actually face the battle. In general, these high dragons, they can almost one-shot you, so you need to know their pattern, you need to make sure you know how to play correctly.
One more thing to add on to that. You will see in the Imperial Onslaught shop that there are specific Wymprints. Those are made for the high dragons to where they make you able to live the hit better, but you still need to calculate for it. As well as void weapons. Some void weapons have High Midgard, High Brunhilde, Bane, where they do more against those dragons, so you can have the DPS to beat them as well. Those are quicker options if you don't have Nat 5-star weapons.
Yes. If anything, void weapons that have those Banes are recommended for the high dragons. There are some cases where you don't need the high dragon print, and you can still face the high dragon no problem. Now then, there is a calculator out there to where you can input your adventurer, your mana, you can input your Wymprints, your dragon, your weapon, and all of your facility levels, and it can calculate whether or not you can live the initial blast from that certain high dragon.
Oh, also, one thing I have to add. The funny thing is, the initial blast is one of their weaker hits. If you get touched by these things, you are dead.
Or very close to it.
Yes, you are either on the ground bleeding, crippled, or you are dead. There is no in between.
This is also where proper team composition comes into play. It is recommended for these rooms that you have at least one healer. Well, that one healer. I should say that. You should have one healer.
You need one healer because you won't have the DPS otherwise.
Yeah. You will need one healer, the other 3 DPS. Really quick. Off of their initial blast, they also give a specific status effect. Let's take High Midgard for example. High Midgard outright stuns you. Now then, in order to avoid this stun chance, you would need a character that can fully resist it. Well, let's actually take a look at my fire team right here. If we go to Marth, for example, he has stun res 100%. That means he'll not get stunned upon the initial blast. Now then, just if we were to look at Ramona, for example, she has sleep res 100%. That means she can't be put to sleep, but she will get stunned. That's what that means.
Oh yeah, also to tail back to the Gala units. Here's what makes Gala units so good. They have 2 100% resistances, so they're usable in so much more content.
Yes, for example, my Gala Ransel right here. He is resistant to both freeze and bog. So that means he can be used for that high dragon and pretty much any water content in the game he can be used for. That's also why Gala units are so good, because they're very flexible. They can be used in almost anywhere. So okay then, now that we have a touch upon the high dragons, in the trade shop, you can purchase really 2 things. You can purchase, is it upgrading right now? Yes, it is. You can purchase a statue of that element, in which that affects dragons' HP and strength, not just adventurers. So that's even more might, even more stats. And also you can even purchase the high dragon.
Here's the thing. When you're farming these, your priority should be the statue.
Yes. The statue should be your first priority. The dragon is honestly just a nice pickup, but yeah, you will want to make sure the dragon is in the back burner for now, and the facility should be the first thing you upgrade because that's even more might, even more strength, and you can clear more content that way. The high dragons, don't sleep on them. They're still really good. So yes, I will still recommend that, well, you do farm them up whenever you can, but I would say you would first farm the statue. Now then, well, one thing I actually forgot to mention about dragons while I was talking about them before is Dragon Bond. Dragon Bond can be farmed daily via... Yeah. You would go to the castle, this little floating island right here, it will have a dragon there. But then, well, you can then feed it materials using gold. That will in turn raise its bond level. It caps out at 30. You get materials for doing that bond, and well, for every bond level increase, it will slightly extend their shapeshift time. So it is very worth doing the dragon bond. That way you can get longer shapeshifts and in general more damage. Once when you begin to get around that level, it's really then just a waiting game. You will then spend all of your time working up your facilities. You'll be working up weapons. You'll be slowly getting Wymprints up, and really just waiting for banners to summon on in order to get more characters, in order to beef up your teams even further. And yeah, once when you clear the high dragons, there's only one more major thing you can do in the game right now. They're going to add
two things.
More stuff.
Two things. Nightmare and Gauntlet.
We already touched upon that though.
Well, yes, but Nightmare is something you can start doing when you could beat the high dragons.
You can begin to take on the true end game at the moment. The Gauntlet. Not even I have beaten the Gauntlet yet. It requires that much end game. You need to literally have your units to the maximum. Have your facilities to the maximum. You must have literally everything maxed out in order to beat the Gauntlet. This is endgame. But it is still recommended you do as much of this as you can whenever you can. Because every month, depending on how far you are, it gives you rewards.
But what is standing in the way between these rewards? A golden Jabba the Hutt, essentially.
Yes. A golden Jabba the Hutt stands in your way. Now then, when it comes to the Gauntlet, it is very, very different compared to other events. For this, you need to really know how to use a unit and how the game mechanics work and team building. This is where literally everything comes together. And you just make a team that meshes incredibly well.
Oh, also, one thing I would like to mention. For us US folks, I don't know how this is for other countries because of time zones. These rewards do not reset at the end of every month. They reset in the smack middle of the month. 15th, 16th, depending on where you are. It resets in the middle of the month. I must emphasize that.
What's even better about this is, well, when we say reset, they don't go back to, oh no, you must clear this all over again. No, it literally gives you the rewards every month because you've done it. You don't need to redo it again. Once when you clear it, it's cleared. That, well, when it comes to the Gauntlet, they're still updating this. They're still giving out more levels to it. They're still making it harder. This is where, in short, it's like your tower. This is where it'll just be one fight after another fight after another fight after another fight and just see how long it can go. So yeah, I think that covers about everything in pretty good detail.
Hopefully this helped. If you guys have any questions about anything we have said or would like to go over things in a little bit more detail, even though I don't think we can, to be honest, ask in the comments. We're more than happy to help.
Don't be afraid to ask, alright? Either either me, my brother, or maybe even a couple strangers will help out. We don't have a problem answering any other questions, just if we poorly explained on our part. I have no idea how long this video is, nor do I know how much will be cut up.
Oh god, I didn't want to think about it.
But I can easily see this being like an hour video, though. Either way, hope that you have enjoyed. I will probably be doing a lot more content from here on out because of first anniversary and me just in general gaining a little more passion for YouTube because, well, before I was really just lackluster on content. I just didn't know what to do. Now the first anniversary is coming, a lot more content's coming out. I feel like I have some stuff to work off of now. I just wanted to get my feet off the ground, so hopefully more content will come. Just if you want to see certain content, feel free to let me know. I'll try to make it happen.